Hello everyone, welcome back to Learn Economia. Here we are going to deal with the second part of ISLM. So we have told that the ISLM model will tell us the simultaneous equilibrium of the real market as well as the money market. I mean the goods market as well as the money market, where you can determine the equilibrium level of interest rate and equilibrium level of income. So we have found the equilibrium, and also we have seen the movement away from equilibrium in the previous video. If you have not watched that video, please go and watch the video. I'll be giving the link in the description box. Okay, so having said so, let's come to a question. What will happen if the equilibrium is disturbed, or what will happen if the equilibrium is not attained? So in that case, there would be a movement towards equilibrium position. So suppose a hypothetical economy where initially at a point which is initially at a point E, and one of the curves are then shifted. Okay, see, just imagine that one of the curves have shifted. So one of the curves has shifted so that the new equilibrium is at point F. How would that new equilibrium actually be reached? The adjustment would involve changes in both interest rate as well as level of income, because we are measuring the levels of income or levels of output in the y-axis, sorry, in the x-axis, and the levels of interest rate in the y-axis. So as a result, if there is any movement away from the equilibrium, that will definitely change the level of income and the level of interest rate. Now, here we have to make mainly two assumptions. First of all, since the prices are assumed to be fixed, when the demand increases, output increases, and output falls when the demand falls. So this shows that Keynesian theory of income determination, the same thing as we have seen in the Keynesian theory of income determination. Those who have not watched the Keynesian theory of income determination video, please go and watch. We have already done a video on that. I'll be giving the theory link in the description box so that you can watch it. Okay. Now the second assumption is that the interest rate rises when there is an excess demand for money and falls when there is an excess supply of money, and this follows from the Keynesian liquidity preference theory. We have done a video on that as well. So I'll be giving the link on the same link of the same in the description box. Now, if you see here, you can see that there have been many figures which deals with how there is a shift in the LM curve and how it would affect the money supply and how there is adjustments and all. So these kinds of things would be discussed in the coming figures. And if you look at this figure, you could see that the direction of adjustments is shown by arrows. For example, in the region 4, we have some excess demand for money, which causes an interest rate to rise as other assets are sold off for money and the prices would decline. The rising interest rate is represented by the upward pointing arrow, and there is also an excess supply of goods in region 4, and accordingly involuntary inventory accumulation to which producing units would respond by reducing their output. Declining output is indicated by a leftward pointing arrow, and the adjustment shown by arrows which would lead ultimately, perhaps in a cyclical manner, to the equilibrium point, which is E. For example, if you start from point F, we show the economy would move to point E with income and interest rate increasing along the adjustment path indicated. And in short, income and interest rate would adjust to disequilibrium in goods market and goods market and asset market, good market or the commodity market. Now, specifically, the interest rate would fall when there is an excess supply of money and rise when there is an excess demand for money. And income rises when aggregate demand for goods exceeds the output and falls when the aggregate demand is less than the output. The system would ultimately move to the equilibrium point E. Now, what is the use of the model? This ISLM model continues to be used for various aspects in macroeconomic studies, and the main reason it is used is that it provides a simple and appropriate framework for analyzing the effect of monetary and fiscal policy changes on the demand for output and interest rate. We'll be looking at certain problems here, numerical problems, so I think this would be of very much help for you, especially when this UGC net under covers a lot of problems like problems kind of questions. Especially these areas would be covered in you would be getting at least one or two questions related to this aspect. So the first question is that C is equal to 102 plus 0.7 y into I. Y I is equal to 150 minus 100 R. Money supply is equal to 300. L is equal to 0.25 F plus 124 minus 200 R. Here we have to assume that KPY is equal to 0.5 Y and HR equal to 124 minus 200 R. So we have to find certain things from the given items. The first one is the equilibrium level of income and the equilibrium rate of interest, where you could find the equilibrium between or the equilibrium in the money market as well as the real market. Then you have to assume, you have to find out C, I and L where the economy is in the equilibrium. So first of all, you have to find the commodity market IS, where you know that Y is equal to C plus I, and from the given equation you substitute the values so that you will be getting that 0.3 y plus 100 r minus 252 equals 0. So the money market equilibrium, which is LM, where excess MS is equal to L. So substituting, you will be getting that 0.25 y minus 200 r minus 176 is equal to 0. So now you have two equations. So you can go for the simultaneous equation approach, multiply the equation 1 by 2 and adding the result to the equation to eliminate r, so that we'll be getting a 0.85 y is equal to 680 and y is equal to 800. Okay, by substituting 800 in the equation 1, you will be getting the result of r is equal to 0.12. Yes. So in the case of B, the question asked here, we have to understand that at y we know that y is equal to 800 and r is equal to 0.12. Here substituting it in the substituting the values, you will be getting 300, and C plus y, you know that it is y, C plus I is equal to y, where C is equal to 662 plus 138, that is investment, that would be giving you 800 rupees. Now the second question is that if the money supply in problem 1 increases by 17, what would happen to the equilibrium level of income and interest rate? That's first question. Second question is that what are C into I into KY and HR at the new equilibrium level? And you have to also find if the money supply is increased by 17, the LM equation. So here, so you have to, in order to understand the first question, you have to understand that the money supply is equal to money demand. That would be the equilibrium level. And in the IS equation here remains unchanged, that is 0.3 y plus 100 r minus 252 equals 0. So now you have two equations, this one and the 0.25 y minus 200 r minus 193 equals 0. So again simultaneous equation approach, where when so you get y is equal to 820, and from that you will be getting your r, which is equal to 0.06. So an increase in the money supply by an increase in the money supply, other things we are assuming that all the other things remaining unchanged. So this lead to an increase in the equilibrium level of income and fall in the rate of interest. So the C is equal to 102 plus 0.7 into 820 is equal to 676. So here I is equal to 144, KY is equal to 05 and HR is equal to 112. So what you have to do is that you have to just substitute the numerical values in the equation. And you know that c plus I is equal to y, so just substitute the values here and you will be getting your income. Now you can find out the equilibrium income level and interest rate, and the levels of c into I into ky and hr in equilibrium. So the equation is given, c is equal to what, y minus I, right? So if you look into the Keynesian consumption function, you have to include the autonomous consumption part and induced consumption part in order to get the consumption function. I mean, here you can see that c is equal to 89 plus 0.656 y. 89 is the autonomous consumption part and 0.65 y is your induced consumption part, and 0.6 is equal to your MPC. So I is equal to 120 minus 150 R, MS is equal to 275 and KY 0.1 Y and HR 240 minus 250 R. So just substitute the values in equation, you will be getting the equilibrium level of income as well as the equilibrium level of interest rate, where here interest rate is equal to 0.06 and Y is equal to 500. So at y is equal to 500 and r is equal to 0.06, you have to find out the c, I, ky and hr. C is equal to, just substitute the values of y here and you will be getting y and r, your c s 389, I equal to 111, your ky is equal to 50 and hr is equal to 225. Now here you are given another question, show what would happen to the equilibrium condition in problem 3 if autonomous investment falls to 97. In this case the same approach works. You go for simultaneous equation model, subtract in order to get your income, and then substitute the value, you will be getting your interest rate. Then substitute the value, you will be, first of all you can get the interest rate and then substitute the value, get the income. R is equal to 0.04 and Y is equal to 450. So a fall in autonomous investment, other than remaining the same, will lead to a decrease in the equilibrium level of income and drop in the interest rate. That's all. Please like, share and subscribe this channel for more videos. And also you are welcome to my Telegram group and Delcronum channel to discuss your doubts.